Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now guys, we're back on the Sowore narrative again. This is a story that shows no signs of going anywhere, and why should it? For as long as Malam Buhari and his cabal are holding on to this guy will always be a feature and a fixture on this channel, and even after he's released, he will continue to be a feature and a fixture on this channel for as long as Malam Buhari and his cabal are holding that country to ransom. So with that, I bring you this. Nigerian government has no grounds to hold my husband. This is Sowore's wife, Opeyemi. So that's the headline. Nigerian government has no grounds to hold my husband. And this story is being attributed to Sowore's wife, Opeyemi. So now let's get into what this lady has to say. And by the way, there's a clip of this lady somewhere. If I can get it, I'll attach it to this video as well. So look out for the clip of her at some point. I'm not promising it, but if I can't find it, I will insert it into the video at some point. So let's get into exactly what she has to say first. Omoyele Sowore's wife, Opeyemi, has decried the continuous detention of her husband by the operatives of the Department of State Services (DSS) after his arrest. Recall that the DSS secured a court order to detain the former presidential candidate of the African Action Congress (AAC) for 45 days after accusing him of receiving millions of dollars from foreign collaborators to topple President Buhari's government. So if I found the clip, I will insert it here. Otherwise, I carry on.
It was Friday night here, Saturday, in Nigeria. I got a text from him saying, "I love you." And I'm like, okay, great, I love you too. But his cousin started calling me over and over about an hour after that and told me that he'd been detained. And for 4 days, or 3 days, we did not have any contact with him. We didn't know where he was. He was taken by force at his hotel and in Lagos and transported to Abuja, and the capital of Nigeria. And of course, he didn't eat their food, didn't drink their water for all those days. He was basically in isolation with no food, no water. But then on the Tuesday after, he was able to get in touch with his lawyer, as well as they allowed people to come in to provide him with food. But since then, he's basically been in isolation for over a month, being held in Abuja with basically no outlets. He's basically locked in a room for the most part.
And the formal charges against him are based on?
There are no formal charges per se. He's being investigated. So the courts gave the Nigerian government or the DSS the ability to hold him for 45 days to investigate treason, possible treason and terrorism. They based it upon a meeting that he had with Nnamdi Kanu, who has an organization around Biafra. He met with him. Yele made it public. In fact, he disagrees with some of Nnamdi's rhetoric, but he met with him. And Yele's whole thing is bringing in everybody's voices so that Nigeria can be a country for pretty much all of its citizens. So that's one of the things that they mentioned against him. They also mentioned he may have taken money from international countries, and he met them in Dubai. He has never been to Dubai before, which was an interesting statement on the Nigerian government's part, and no money basically has been found with him. So those were some of the things that they've mentioned and associated with him, but they basically have no grounds for holding him and haven't found any evidence.
Nini Jensen Reventlow.
He was also accused of being in contact with Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, to mobilize forces and holding series of meetings with foreign collaborators outside Nigeria, including Dubai, to violently overthrow the government of President Muhammadu Buhari. However, speaking on Democracy Now!, which is a news program in the United States, Opeyemi said her husband is being investigated for treason and there is no formal charges against him. She further revealed that she received a text message from her husband prior to his arrest and detention in solitary confinement. Opeyemi added that she and her children have only spoken to him just twice since his arrest. She said, "There is no formal charges per se. He is just being investigated for possible treason and terrorism. They based it upon a meeting that he had with Nnamdi Kanu, who has an organization about Biafra. The two of them met, and Yele, which is of course Omoyele, made it public. In fact, he disagrees with some of Nnamdi Kanu's rhetoric. Yele's own thing was to bring in everybody's voice so that Nigeria can be a country for pretty much all of its citizens." They also mentioned that he may have taken money from international countries and that he met some of them in Dubai, but he has never been to Dubai before. No money basically has been found with him. So those are the things that they've mentioned and associated with him, but they basically have no grounds for holding him and haven't found any evidence. No, so this is now Omoyele Sowore's wife feeling the need to go public and to go and sort of like defend her husband effectively, and just to keep that name in the public eye. So she's now gone to the United States. I won't say she's actually gone to the United States. I think she lives in the United States. So she's now gone to the media in the United States to flash up this story again, to keep up that international pressure and to keep this guy's name in circulation, because you know within Nigeria very quickly your name can be forgotten because it's like a drama a minute, and then there'll be another drama because we are all talking about South Africa now and we're not talking about Sowore anymore. So she needed to do this to go ensure that her husband's name is still trending and current within the consciousness of not just Nigerians but the international community as well, to say, look, this guy is being held. So they are saying this guy went to Dubai to collect money, and the wife is saying the guy has never even been to Dubai in his life. So how did he do that? Is it by osmosis? Is it by some Professor Pella abracadabra trick? They say something in Yoruba and they say kanoko. Maybe you use kanoko and you just take one step and you are in Dubai or something. I don't know what of ridiculous. And this is somebody that is claiming to be the Department of State Security, making those abstract things. They couldn't even have enough sense to check his passport first to see what sort of visas are on it, to establish it if he has actually been to Dubai or not, before they go out making these very ridiculous claims. So this is the sort of thing that we're having to deal with within the Nigerian space, and you can see then the reasons why this lady felt the need to go to the international community, especially in the United States, to say, look, listen, this is what is going on, and this matter is starting to peter out in Nigeria a little bit. So I'm coming out publicly now to again inform you, the Americans, that this guy is being held to ransom. This is, well, he's not an American citizen, Sowore, because he refused to take the citizenship of America, but is an American resident. So she's effectively saying, look, this is an American resident, his children are American, we live here, and we've lived here for decades, and we're part of your system, and this is now what is happening to somebody that left here to go and try and make good in his own country. So if you are saying that you stand for democracy and all these kind of things that the Americans are always telling everybody that they stand for, well, this is now a fight at the forefront of that. So you now take a position is effectively what Mrs. Sowore is saying to the American public, because the American public are the only people really that have enough of a leverage to pressure this sort of Buhari type of person to say, look, Mr. Man, settle your mind down. We know you are there by Odoro anyway, and we are letting you go, but if you start to get too wayward, then we have to pay attention to you, and if we pay attention to you, then we'd have to then ask questions on how exactly that election was conducted that suddenly found you in the presidential villa again after the people have effectively rejected you. So these are all of the questions that she's now trying to excite in the minds of the Americans by this sort of public appearance that she has made. And this is the first time, by the way, that I've seen this lady in public. I never even knew her name. Obviously, we all knew he has a wife, or because obviously he's of age, you know, but I've never never really known her to be publicly out. She's never at his marches. She's never in the public space. She doesn't caught attention. So she's effectively, I don't know what her career is, but she's probably some career woman in America, as well as a mom who is living her life outside of the antics and the activities of her husband. But then, of course, if the husband is being held effectively hostage by Malam Buhari and his cabal, and she, like every other Nigerian, knows what Malam Buhari and his cabal are capable of, they can just disappear the guy and disappear him for good. It's not beyond what they can do. They've done it before. So she now has then that thing in her head that, look, I have to act now, because if I don't act now, suddenly my husband will become another Dasuki. He'll become another statistic for this Buhari regime, and this is just how this thing can play out. So now this woman has now done the right thing by my own estimation, because this story, of course, has to always be current within the Nigerian space, so that we're continuously aware and reminded that Omoyele Sowore is still being held hostage by Malam Buhari and the cabal. So she did the right thing. And by the way, there are a lot of people too on social media who are keeping this guy's name alive, because there's continuous stories about this. There's some guy in Canada who does stories about him routinely. There's another channel called Object TV, who is effectively the guy that runs it anyways, Sowore boy. So he is never tired of talking about Sowore. So, and I mentioned him too when the opportunity presents itself. So together, and with you guys listening as well, we continue to make sure that this guy's name continues to trend, because for as long as the name Sowore is in the public space, then that's additional pressure on Malam Buhari and the cabal to say, look, Malami, what is going on here with this guy? Because we need him back and we want him back, and we don't know what you're trying to do with him, and we don't trust you, so just hand him back. So now, conversations in the comment section is what I'm inviting. What are your thoughts on the position that Mrs. Sowore has taken is what I'm inviting you to come discuss with me. But before you come have that conversation with me, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what you are making of what this lady, what is her name again? Is it Opeyemi or something? We had her name just now, so we have to familiarize ourselves with that name. Opeyemi Sowore is her name. So come tell me what you are making of what Opeyemi Sowore has to say in the comment section. So I'll leave you here, join you in the comment section as ever, but here I say peace.